It's a Monday. It's Best Ball Mania time. We've got trade rumors galore. We've got body bags about the trade rumors, and we got drafts to do. It's closing line value time, home stretch season. Your favorite players are dead. The players you were fading are rising inexplicably. Who are we taking? Who are we fading? What's real? We don't know. Cats, dogs. It's all hysterical. But guess what? We got Kevin on, and we're going to draft the Best Ball Mania. So let's get into it.
Yes, as Tyler said, busy season. It is so busy. Like now is absolutely the time to be paying attention to everything. And we've got a guest who pays attention to everything. Kev, busy between Rotoballer, Fantasy Pros, Fantasy and Frames as well. How much are you enjoying August so far?
It is the season of CLV here. Now we're into August. So you got to keep your eyes open to everything, unless it's Brandon Ayuk news and you just want to kind of bury your head in the sand. But other than that, I'm ready to draft. I'm keeping tabs on everything, and just put the damn Ayuk news out already.
And for what it's worth, like I haven't seen Ayuk particularly going any higher in drafts today. Like I saw Puka Nacua slip a couple of spots, but he wasn't sliding much. I saw Deebo Samuel going on the 1-2 turn over on Drafters for a show I was just recording for Fantasy Pros. But yeah, I mean, hypothetically, Kev, if that trade happened, what are you doing with Ayuk and Deebo?
I mean, Deebo's probably got to flip Ayuk, certainly. I mean, he's already kind of flipping him anyway a little bit, but I've been kind of Deebo over Ayuk anyway, so I think that just reaffirms that. But in terms of Ayuk, like you're already splitting probably thin passing game, even thinner now. Pickens is probably going to drop into like what, 6th round ish. Like you're probably drafted Ayuk in the 3rd. It's just the basic efficiency play. I mean, not that it hasn't been anyway, but now you're really splitting into the Arthur Smith narrative with Ayuk too.
Yep. Tyler, I didn't mean to keep you quiet for so long. How would you play it if that happened?
Well, it's not likely to happen considering we've had 2 big accounts and then my personal insider of choice, just consistency wise, Ben Albright, saying that as far as they're aware, there is no trade imminent. So I've been on the stance that it made no common sense for a Super Bowl team with a rookie contract quarterback to deal a top 5 real life wide receiver on a team with aspirations much higher than doing whatever they want to do. And so this really just seemed like, there's a contract on the table. Ayuk wants more, and it's posturing. It's agent driven, most likely. And the 49ers are just leaking, like, go ahead, bud. Go ahead. And we've seen this with Deebo. We've seen it with their kicker. Like, I'm not like 95% certain at this point it's not happening. But if it does, I struggle to see how.
How do you not get something done with the one youthful piece of your offense that you have?
But also, if it was going to happen, it was going to happen before the draft. Because the thing, everybody likes Ricky Pearsall, but he's kind of struggled in camp a little bit with the injury and the separation, and his draft profile was kind of sketchy to begin with. So, I doubt that the team is ready to rock. A Shanahan team, mind you, is ready to rock and roll with a rookie receiver, in starting sets right out the gate, especially one that's missed a good chunk of camp. But let's say he gets traded. Right now, the teams on the table right now are what? The Commanders, the Steelers, and dark horse Browns. It's all Brownstown, by the way, if we're being honest about the legitimacy. But yeah, if he moves, Pittsburgh, you have the same kind of volume concerns you would have in San Francisco, but with a much worse environment. Commanders, it's Terry's obviously I love Terry. Terry's not like a grown ass alpha, that we've seen the likes of Brandon Ayuk, but that's a rookie quarterback and a shaky offensive line. So, and then Cleveland would be Deshaun Watson. So it's I imagine everybody just kind of drops and cannibalizes each other, most likely, and it probably kills the Freiermuth breakout second target aspirations, but seemingly not going to happen because it didn't seem like the Steelers wanted to say yes to the price of either Ayuk or Sutton before the draft, and it seems like they've addressed it with how they wanted to. So nothing. Roman Wilson didn't lose his leg, so I don't think the Steelers are struggling to get a guy.
Yeah, and Ben says, wait, do you guys think Ayuk is more valuable off 49ers? It's not that black and white. Like, I think, if you put Ayuk on the Bills, obviously there's a better chance. Ayuk's efficiency has been absurd.
Yeah.
Like, for a receiver to do what he did on the amount of targets that he got, it's just not something that's going to be often repeatable. And I know the Niners offense is incredibly efficient all around, and we've seen enough of a track record to believe that perhaps if he stays there, then he can probably repeat that again. George Kittle, Deebo Samuel aren't the healthiest of players. Christian McCaffrey has been remarkably healthy since he moved across to the Niners. So there's all these ways that Ayuk could hit in a big way. But yeah, I mean, if he goes to the Steelers, he'd definitely drop for me. But if he went to somewhere that was actually fun for fantasy football, then he could definitely jump a little bit.
Yeah, Washington, the volume, I think Washington's the only team that's been floated as a trade candidate where the volume would likely increase because, Cliff Kingsbury does run a high-paced offense. So like that would make sense seemingly. But yeah, the Steelers, it's like, we just saw Drake London not eclipse 115 targets back-to-back years. And that's kind of Ayuk's current cap situation in San Francisco. So yeah, I wouldn't be taking him where he's going. I'd have to let him get into the DJ Moore-ish range to feel comfortable with it. But like I said, I think we're doing all this talking and it's not going to end up being, I think it's going to end up being moot unless something truly shocking happens. But again, if that was going to happen, I believe we'd hear a lot more smoke from the legitimate voices in the industry.
Yeah. Well, we're going to jump into a draft in a minute, but before we get to it, got to get to our big summer giveaway. We've got 260 subscribers to go until we hit the big 3,000. Truly appreciate everyone who's been supporting us and helping us hit where we're at already. But 260 more to go. All you've got to do to get some cold hard cash is simply subscribe, leave comments on videos, as many videos as you like. Each comment is an entry into a draw, and you'll get into the draw for $100 in cold hard cash, 12 months free membership to all our premium content, which includes my DFS weekly write-ups in the Discord, Rich's Dynasty rankings and trade calculator, as well as his rookie guide, which is incredible, and a $25 voucher for our merchandise store. Lots to be had. All you've got to do is just keep supporting us in the way that you've been doing. Tyler, I saw you sneaking in, and we were straight into the 11 spot. Kev, are you bored of drafting out of these back end picks yet? What do you like doing around here?
It's probably hoping that I can get a Garrett Will, and now potentially could even get to Puka go yet. No, could potentially get Puka with people being scared around the turn, which would be just the dream. Garrett Wilson goes though, but.
So the question is, do we want to take the chalk considering that from what we've seen, Puka's unlikely to miss week 1? But I'm down with anything here. Kev, what you feeling?
I'm still good with Puka, honestly. I think it's a lot of smoke, honestly.
It is such garbage, dude. I've been trying all day and since last night to try to get a stupid, awesome Puka pairing, is what I'll call it. Trademark to cease and desist anyone else that uses it. And I am getting the wrong slots, or he's going right at ADP. And it's I am so jealous of the guys that have gotten Bijan Puka from the 9 hole. It's just so unfair, man.
The Liam tweet this morning was great. I think we should still draft the 23-year-old coming off the best rookie season of all time over the 31-year-old.
So Kev, do you want to deal with the week 17 Puka Marv, or are you not in on the Marv round 1-2?
I'm not the greatest on Marv. I would probably be either Debo or Nico. I'm good with either. They're about even for me.
You have a lean?
It's Debo for me. It's been Debo all summer.
Say less, fam. Say less.
Look, Ryan, Tyler doesn't like to tip you guys off. He's trying to eke out as much EV as he can from these.
Ryan,
if you want the plus EV drafts, you've got to rock up to the Best Ball brunch on Sundays where Tyler's just doling out EV all day. But we will be back on Friday with what was the nickname that you gave out?
Patty Warbucks.
Patty Warbucks, also known as Pat Carrain, for a happy hour draft. And maybe we'll do a better job of trying to involve the chat in the draft in that one.
Ryan, to be fair, all season, Tom has been given the green light to like, here's where he's queuing up. Come get it. And you got the one time he had to vamp for the sweepstakes giveaway sub goal while I got to sneakily. And also, to be quite fair, even if he wanted to help, it was an immediate 12 of 12 when we jumped in. So, it is what it is, Ryan. But
speaking of Patty Warbucks, the Randall Weems, the recess dude with the
that meme is great.
Oh man, so good.
Love it.
I mean, that's literally him and all of his leg up minions manipulating ranks in ADP.
You'll love to see it.
So Cooper Kupp goes at the 19th pick overall. Like, I think I'd be more interested in a Cooper Kupp rise if it made Puka and Kupp more stackable in an interesting way. Like, Kev, are you taking Cooper Kupp if he starts getting smoked this point in drafts more often?
Like, I wasn't even taking him much in the third round. Like, there's no kind of, it's just one side of the equation, and you're not getting any kind of discount with Puka. So I'm probably not taking Cooper Kupp in the second round. Like, I'm not the highest. I mean, we literally just said it about a minute ago about Cooper Kupp and the lower leg injuries. He's had a bunch of them in the last couple of seasons, the tightrope surgery, all that. I mean, 30-year-old, 31-year-old, I think at the beginning of the season, I'm just not into it, but I understand why you can make the bull case. I mean, Cooper Kupp is, as they say, good at football. So, we've seen him just absolutely crush fantasy football, but that was what, 2-3 seasons ago. So
yeah, and I'm kind of struggling with it a little bit because like my thought process is kind of like if a guy that, I mean, so Edwin Porras, one of the fantasy PTs I trust a lot and lean on for the medical expertise part of it. He was like, Kupp did kind of have a really bad run out of hamstring and then high ankle, and and CMC kind of struggled with some of the similar type of soft tissue and lower body injuries. High ankles kind of more fluky than the hammies are, but adjusting regimen as you age and as you accumulate injuries, it can be a way that NFL players mitigate some of that, but it doesn't always, like, players don't always change how they're training, but the ones that do can really reduce that. And so we've kind of seen Watson, and we heard about Kupp doing potentially the same thing, and now both of those guys have seemingly had really healthy, no issue camps. So I'm trying to be faithful to, even with the injury concern stuff, what's keeping Kupp from being able to kind of have like a very solid Keenan Allen, Devontae Adams-esque, like healthy older season, where things break right. But I mean, yeah, age cliff definitely concerning, but I'd say that's not keeping me off of the guy who just had one of the best rookie seasons at wide receiver ever, despite coming in like hot and heavy out of week one as a lower drafted player with a lot less reps in college, who himself had several injuries he had to play through last year, and still crushed. And he's had a healthy camp up until this point, and everything pointing to that kind of being like a, kind of like a bruise or a sprain. They don't expect him to miss any time. So yeah, I'm in on this offense, but I'm trying to get a little bit more Kupp, but it won't surprise me if he kind of struggles just given age.
Yeah, I'll sprinkle them just because we know how condensed the Rams are. Like, that's
right.
The one kind of tipping point for me where you don't get the offenses that often, like the Rams, the Bengals. We hope the Falcons are going to be like that too. Vikings, where it's the McVay style offense where you can get these guys just so hyper condensed.
All right, Kevin, call your shot. What do you like to do here in this 3-4 turn?
You know what? You know who I've been drafting more of in. I'm gonna see if we can push him. I do like Zay Flowers here, though. Definitely over Pittman. I'm not going to say his name in case he comes back around, but
I don't even have to ask Tom. His eyes are just very glowingly, lovingly wanting that.
Anytime he can extend the olive branch to the Ravens fan, you
got yeah, and I mean, my bags are so light on Ravens players. It's definitely good for me to get a little bit more exposure. But
did he come back?
It's actually Isaiah Pacheco.
Nice.
Oh, yep. Just a little.
The guy I'm trying to mix in more now that it's just like, well, this is his price. This is his role. If his role now is, and I say this with all due respect to CEH, but like very messed up in the head, messed up physically, got a lot going on in CEH, and Deneric Prince, who couldn't hack it in pass pro. last year. It seems like Pacheco and the guy looming threat is 34-year-old Dusty Knees, Jarrett McKinnon, staying in shape. Pacheco could be in for a ton of work on an awesome offense. It doesn't have to be complicated, and especially when you start 3 receivers, feels nice to kind of leverage against some of the running backs or the receivers going just in case this team wants to go deep. But what if defenses just say, no, we're playing too high. You're not beating us, Patrick Mahomes, and they just let Pacheco run real angry through the line. It could happen.
So Tyler, I know you were pretty in on CH as a late round pick, like for quite a while. Have you got a particular area of exposure that you'd like to get to with Pacheco to try and counterbalance that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm lower on Pacheco seemingly just because of opportunity cost. The way I'm building is a lot of hero and 0 RB, so getting Pacheco now is somewhat more difficult than ever. Just given his price. I was mixing him in a little bit at the 4-5 turn. So yeah, I think I definitely want to get to the point where I'm over 8% at least. So I got a little bit of work to do with that. That said, I'm not going to worry too much about raw percentage because I'm trying to leverage him by getting just those higher stakes tourneys. I've got some slows going. I'm probably going to rip a big dog or two for the end of the season. In those teams, I'm prioritizing a guy like Pacheco, just because it's going pretty. It's a pretty clean bet to make. But I'm not going to try to like CEH. I have a lot of CEH from the 18th to the 20th round, given what platform you're on, and I'm not going to sweat a running back looking like a poor bet as an 18th round pick, considering that was mostly in stacks, chasing the game, and CH is still alive for that. I mean, the coaching staff, to be fair, did say, we know what we have in CH. He's having to deal with his own stuff. So in the interim, we're going to give the young guy a chance to like crack and do what he's got to do. But CH is the guy that knows the pass pro. He knows the blitz pickups. We're not going to worry too much about him right now. So there's still an out mid-late season how chaos goes or anything like that. But early season, he's probably not going to matter much.
Kev, have you got anyone like that who you kind of like, you've hit the point where it's like time to balance the books a bit and just, I need to get more of this player because of X, Y, and Z?
I mean, it's probably a guy I need to mix in more because I have so much like JSN and Lockett late as DK Metcalf. And but it's so difficult because where he's going, I can't bring myself to click that button on DK Metcalf where he's going when there's Tank Dell, Stephon Diggs, DJ Moore, those guys. So that's very hard, and I need to kind of do that. Another guy is probably I'm trying to think now. Jaden Reed. I mean, I draft enough to Wicks and Christian Watson where he's probably a guy I have to mix in too. It's definitely a lot of the third round receivers are guys I need because I have the comfy clicks, but it's those couple guys that I really need to mix in more. It's DK and Jaden Reed certainly.
Yeah, nice. I will say one thing that's made taking Pacheco a little bit easier for me, mixing him in there in the 4th round. He's fallen a little past ADP, and I if he falls a few picks past ADP, I just tell myself I have to take him because you're getting a decent price here. But with guys like Mixon, for example, kind of missing multiple weeks with a hamstring, ideally he's still going to be okay, good to go for week 1. But like those were my heavier clicks when the receiver tier kind of got a little thinner. So now I'm kind of just deciding, well, I'm taking Pacheco as my modified anchor, and I'm going to bypass the 6th round running back instead. Now that I'm liking, if there's a Kansas City guy there, if there's Watson there, especially now with the 7th round being truly barren from a vibes-based standpoint with some injury stuff kind of lurking around. So I'm just looking at Pacheco as a way to kind of just nab that and diversify the clicks at those positions at that point in the draft.
So where we going here? Like, I know there's 2 wide receivers I like, but I'm willing to be talked into most picks here, Kev.
It would probably be Keenan or Godwin. Keenan looks like he's fallen a little bit half around. I'm totally fine with Keenan there.
Tyler?
I'm good with Keenan.
Yeah, it's Keenan for me. Keenan, and then Godwin would have been the other player that I'd push for. I think like as a wide receiver 4, they're just like really nice plays. But I mean, I don't mind taking a shot on one of the rookies either. Kev, is it if Godwin had made it back to you, would it have been Godwin? And which of these guys do you still want in this pick?
I think I actually don't mind getting Kittle coming back and making a play on the Niners there.
Okay.
If something happens with Ayuk, then we're at least keep it there.
I'm a little torn because I've been trying to set up some more Caleb stacks. So a double Caleb would feel nice too. But
I'm
good either way. I'm fine. Kittle or Odunze is fine with me.
Let's. I just processed. Kittle or Odunze. Okay, all right. You know what? It is what it is.
It's fine, Davis Matic. You're all right.
Yeah. Look, in my third eye, I saw Caleb just ripping it deep and then scampering around. I'm like, you just need more Caleb.
The fourth eye just woke up.
The
fourth eye was ready in case the third eye didn't have it.
So to be fair, in this room, we have just seen a CMC team absolutely bury itself alive. Shout out to the chat. This is why we won a few rooms every once in a while, just play around with. And then the turn kind of just doing its own thing. So we've kind of got like Nickelback for life. He's not messing with us too much. So I'm kind of like in a room where it's a little spicy, but a little lane staying. I don't mind kind of setting up a clean double stack with a very, very talented quarterback who seemingly had a very solid camp with kind of how we've built. I feel like if Mahomes is having the type of season that his player ADPs are suggesting, well, then we just need new age Mahomes over in Chicago to keep us afloat and keep us pacing with it.
Kev, how are you playing the Chicago wide receivers this offseason? Like, I've been leaning into teams like this. Like, I have way more Keenan Allen and way more Rome Odunze than DJ Moore. Are you played it differently of that, or are you kind of similar?
I'm actually the exact same way. I'm actually more Keenan, I'm more Odunze than I am DJ Moore. Just that's the third, fourth round wide receiver where it gets tough to really balance out exposures when I love the Texans so much and I grab so much Diggs and Dell that those guys are not afterthoughts, but you're like, well, I guess I could have. But this feels way better to take a Diggs and a Dell than a DJ Moore, certainly. When you can get kind of equal profiles, as far as target distribution with Allen and with, what you hope for getting a Odunze later on in the season. But yeah, definitely into Caleb, definitely into the Bears offense as a whole. I just, certainly hope that Shane Waldron doesn't screw it up like he did last year in Seattle.
That non-derogatorily fair. And also by doing a Bears double stack with the pass catchers, we can assuredly pass on the allure of DeAndre Swift because we've already got Caleb double stacked.
Yeah. Jordan Schultz has tweeted again, just reiterating the fact that there's currently no trade in place. Brandon Ayuk says the 49ers have had discussions in recent days regarding a potential Ayuk trade with several teams, but at this point, nothing's finalized. I know someone was asking in the chat, does Kittle jump pile shit in ADP if Ayuk is traded?
He certainly does.
I think so, yeah. I don't think he's necessarily becomes a better bet because it's like, how much does the Niners offense regress in general? But yeah, I think he would, and I think I'd still take both of them.
I mean, it's still probably the beacon of efficiency in the NFL, even without Ayuk. As efficient as Ayuk was, 3 yards per out run, that's could probably clue you in, but it certainly takes some luster off. They're probably back to back, I would say.
My thing with Kittle is that we saw Kittle underperform his historic scoring by roughly 3 touchdowns. I believe Madison Parkhill did this math, and the dude played through a fluked groin the entire season. He got it addressed, and he's had a, by all accounts, solid, healthy camp. And so Kittle with a fresh groin in tow, and if there's any regression from this offense, it's much more likely they just go to the guys that make it work. And I think Kittle and Debo are like the outlet yak guys, and Kittle's touchdown upside remains elite, which in half PPR really, really matters. Got some followers coming around here. Kevin, how you feeling?
Looking, I'm fine with Engram. It's not my favorite click, but I'm fine with that. Other than that, I'm probably taking Jaylen Warren, honestly.
Okay.
of this group. Like
correlates.
I was taking a lot of Hopkins before till the injury hit.
Yep. Kev, I feel like you and me are drafting very similarly this offseason.
Where do you get your ideas?
Third leg up.
So where we are, we've got 2 picks before us. I mean, I'm kind of okay going down to Jonathan Brooks. I've cooled on him a little bit. I don't mind DeAndre Hopkins as a wide receiver 6, but it feels like maybe we might want to look elsewhere on this. Do you guys, where's Caleb Williams in ADP? We've got a little bit of time before him.
Yeah,
still
Caleb should come back 112. We
turn.
should be right in tow to take him in at 110, unless y'all are feeling antsy.
No. Kev, what do you like?
Is Bauer still out there, or we go full Siegel?
You can pull up Bowers if you like. I won't fight you.
Let's do it.
I'm fine. Yeah, I'm totally fine with that. I'm taking just a shit ton of him.
We might end up with 2 big cock Brocks on this team. You'd love to see it.
Yeah, like I am not in on Ferguson whatsoever, and I understand the target thesis for that, but I do think CeeDee Lamb is like live for 190, 200 targets this year.
The only time I feel like taking Jake Ferguson is if I've got CeeDee Lamb and you're going to be stacking with Dak Prescott as well. It just doesn't feel like something you need to force. And maybe if you've got the Eagles and you don't believe
I was going to say, I sneaky don't mind if I feel like I'm set and stacked everywhere and he's coming, a rounder after ADP and I've got a Philly stack. I don't mind a little gal brain Ferguson versus Philly, considering they historically are awful against tight ends, and you're never going to get. I mean, I'm not going to say never, but you're very unlikely to get a CeeDee Lamb bring back on Hurts in a build you feel good about. And if it's happening, it's with a different pass catcher. So I'm very fine just saying my AJ Brown Hurts stack with a Ferguson bring back. Game script wise, we've seen him have a 3 touchdown ceiling. Is that likely? No, but the target competition's never been worse. So as far as critical down stuff, in a high scoring game script, I'm fine with it. But yeah, I agree. I wish his price was a little cheaper. Because we've just seen this from the historical Dallas tight end. You're paying for the safety and the floor. And
he's Dalton Schultz. We have Dalton Schultz at home. That's Jake Ferguson.
Look, before we crack on, I've just got to mention a few shows we've got coming up over next week. We've got new Dynasty content tomorrow. Rich's been hammering the Dynasty sophomore series. Got quarterbacks and tight ends with Marvin Eloquin of the Fantasy Footballers. Wednesday, I'll be back for DraftKings content. Thursday, undervalued and overvalued wide receivers with Josh Norris. Friday, Underdog Happy Hour with Pat Carrain. Saturday, undervalued and overvalued quarterbacks with Heath Cummings of CBS. Sunday, Tyler, I'm sure you'll be back in the Best Ball Brunch Streets. And then next Monday, Underdog once again with Justin Herzig himself. So if you've not already, hit that fucking subscribe button.
Who can subscribe and come give Josh Norris the hardest of times on his takes. From the love of your hearts for our
you spent about 45 minutes on the Carolina Panthers.
Well, I mean, we were chatting about which wide receivers to talk about, and he didn't mention Curtis Samuel. I was like, no, Josh, we're not missing up a chance to talk about Curtis.
Did you tell him to blink twice if he was being held against his will?
David Pepper's got him on the payroll.
Bugman's like, you will stop talking. You have hit your quota on Curtis Samuel this week. Quit it.
Shout out to the good people at Underdog. We appreciate them.
We love Underdog. We love Underdog. No, I kid. We love Underdog.
So, Tyler, recap our tea for us before we get back on the clock again, would you?
Please, Tom. We have Isaiah Pacheco, Jalen Warren. Thank you. Isaiah Pacheco, Jalen Warren, Puka Nacua, Debu Samuel, Zay Flowers, Keenan Allen, Roma Dunze, Brock Bowers. Very, very fun team. Little shot at elite tight end, double anchor, very nice bye week 6 and 9 running backs who we actually like. They run angry and they run smooth like a glider. Jalen kind of does remind me of Arian Foster a little bit, now that I think about it.
Well, that dude just misses every tackle, and he's one of the most fun players to watch.
That boy smooth. And the one whole team trying to unbury himself with Lad McConkey, Keon Coleman, and a falling DeAndre Hopkins. So I mean, theoretically speaking, yeah, go after the rookies and potentially you you come away with it. Like DeAndre, the 32-year-old, the sprained knee is okay, actually. So I guess you gotta tip your hat to him. Don't know, like Jaden does allow him to do just he could do 2 tight end, 2 quarterbacks. So allocation wise, I guess it's fine. But I definitely think I'm taking a receiver there over Jaden to just help unbury. Holy shit!
Yeah.
Oh.
So, Caleb Williams, we might as well push him around the corner. The team on the corner's got 2 quarterbacks already.
Yep.
Yeah, we can push it.
Come on. Fuck. Brutal. Okay, who do you want to take here? I know Caleb's locked and loaded. Do we just want to do double QB, or do we want to push QB a little bit more?
I'm fine with that. Like the only other option would be probably maybe throwing Dobbs as one of the picks.
I'm good with Dobbs.
Yeah, he's someone I'd like to get more exposure to. I mean, he's on the thumbnail, so I mean that's good karma.
Oh wow, Tom just profiteering this.
He's half-mast right now.
Well, look, guys. I mean, if you take the most snaps at family night in August, you've obviously got to be thumbnail material. And I think the thing with Dobbs, I drafted on his team on drafters earlier, and it was one where we kind of got boxed out of wide receiver a little bit. And it was like, you know what? From Dobbs, you just get in a role which feels quite predictable. He's probably not going to give you the highest ceilings of other players, but we've got players on our teams who are not necessarily boom bust, but they're high ceiling players. But I wouldn't be surprised if there's several weeks where a guy like Romeo Dobbs ends up outscoring some of our higher drafted wide receivers just because he's going to see decent volume at times. So yeah, I'm trying to get a little more Dobbs. Just maybe it is just chasing the news a little bit, but I'm kind of fine with it because I think he's a reasonably good player.
Well, yeah, price wise, it's like, well, if he's truly, I mean, I think people probably give folks a hard time about like the Dobbs fade, but like we're talking about a 4th round rookie with a questionable rookie profile coming out. And I was a fan of him being underrated because his 40 time was really what hurt him going all the way back to Dynasty Brain. And I dug deep to find out that like he had like strained his lower body right before the 40, and so he underperformed. And so he wasn't as slow as the 40 suggested. So his athletic profile in college was better than his combine suggested, blah, 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 blah. Fun way of saying still not the best prospect. And they have a lot of talented guys. And so prognosticating, it's like, hey, the coaching staff is calling Devontae Wicks the next coming Devontae Adams. Christian Watson, if he's healthy, is a very talented wide receiver. And Jaden Reed is looking like the next Amon-Ra type of Deebo Samuel breakout. So if anyone's getting left out, it's probably the like boring, ho-hum, mediocre talent Dobbs. And in May and April, that's okay. Like I get it. And his price never really faltered. Now we're getting kind of like steady camp. I mean, I think the only 2 people that have had like consistently solid offseason and camp news is Dubs and JMO, right? Like it's just loves him. The coaching staff loves him. He does his job. He's dependable, and he's worked on his routes. He's like just the coach speak has just been insanely good. So it's like, okay, maybe at some point, and then we get a little bit of news of like maybe this guy's just locked into 80% plus of the routes. And if that's the case, and we want parts of this offense, well, shit, 107's not bad for, the guy running all those routes.
Yeah. There's like no more, as a Packer fan, like there's no more loyal head coach / personnel department to their players, it seems like, than Romeo Dobbs. Like then the Packers with like Romeo Dobbs and wanting to give Christian Watson, certainly that chance. I mean, Dobbs seems boring, but that's the perfect leverage against Davis Maddock and his No, but I mean, Wicks is like
we're specifically leveraging certain users is fantastic.
Yeah,
I know. What are the odds? Pretty odd. You got to be pretty high odds that Romeo has like a literal lunch pail he brings in with him. Also, I wanted to give Kevin and I a chance, and Tom. I know Bowers versus Ingram and Fergs. I think the easy case is this is Best Ball Mania, and it's a huge field, and then it's a huge final. Ingram is kind of like a target consolidator, and he's fine. We had no correlation with him. Yes, he fell a little bit, but at the same time, Ferguson, same thing. target consolidator, not to the level of Ingram, but better potential offense, less to run against. But Cooks is having a really great camp by all accounts. He's old. We think he's dusty, but he's not dead. He's not gone. They like how Tolbert has adjusted. He's never really earned more than like 16% target share. Ferguson has, and Ingram kind of underutilized in the red zone, and they have Brian Thomas. So it's like Bowers is the guy, by all accounts, that could smash a la Kincaid and Laporta last year, and that's much more valuable at that ADP than guys like Ingram and Ferg. Did I miss anything in that retort?
No, I think it's. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, go on, Kev.
I was just going to say, it's really hard to kind of parse all those tight ends 8 through 12. So why not make the bet on just supreme talent?
That's a way better
Brock Bowers
short way of saying that. Yeah, no, good, good report.
Yeah, I'll come back to my point after we make this pick because we are about to go on to the clock, and it's the running back dead zone. Like these guys literally are close to being dead.
All right, Kevin, what's your lean?
My lean here is probably Dowdle, honestly. I'm not in. We could probably push him. I'd be fine with Downs, and we could probably be done at wide receiver.
I'm thinking Downs and be done. You go with that, Tom?
Yeah, that works great.
Okay. I was ready to manipulate time itself for you, just in case.
The only thing I was going to say on Jake Ferguson, like, you can look at the fact that he had 24 red zone targets as a positive, but it also feels like that's a number that's primed to regress. You know, that was 3 more than any other player. Yes, I think his target share is probably going to stay stable, but I just don't think that we're necessarily going to see him score as many touchdowns in the red zone as he did last year. I'd like to see him doing things a little bit differently, whereas Brock Bowers feels like the guy who can do that. I mean, Brock Bowers is probably the most realistic prospect who can break Ozzie Newsome's tight end rushing record, which has stood for absolutely years. Like, he can play the game so differently to other players. So yeah, I'm very much aware of the caveats you have to look at with Brock Bowers, but I don't mind taking him and just betting on the nuclear outcome, because I think the nuclear outcome for Jake Ferguson is a touchdown and sort of like 70 yards more often than not.
Like, imagine not betting on the guy who, as an 18-year-old, outproduced multiple current NFL players on his own offense. Like, I can't imagine not doing that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, like, Bowers has a lot of outs, right? He could take over Myers as like the main red zone and passing guy, and that kind of happened with Myers with the coaching change last season. You know, he's had a great camp. He's got high draft capital. He's one of like the better college players that came out last year. If Zamir in the run game is mediocre and Adams gets traded, Adams gets hurt at his older age, or Adams just kind of checks out late season with a mediocre team, like, Bowers has so many outs, and we're just ignoring the fact that, like, Bowers is just very fucking good. And unlike rookie or Pitts, like, he's being used in the red zone and he's crushing in the red zone in camp. And I think the coaching staff is taking notice of that. Sounds like they're going to use multiple tight ends, but then, you know, I think we can fairly say that he's going to be much better than Myers, who added like 20 or 30 pounds to help with like the blocking stuff coming into this season. But someone asked about Addison hearing. I'll pull this up real quick. Drew Davenport,
7th, right?
Yeah, Drew Davenport basically said that it's not your normal time frame. So he'd be shocked. Anyway, long story short, he'd be shocked as a 20-plus year legal veteran if the Addison case was handled this season, because it won't even happen. He'll hire counsel, plead not guilty, you know, motion to suppress, blah, blah, blah. And, you know, stuff can change, but you'll want to go quick and move on. So just a lawyer's opinion that this is not likely to happen. And this is the same lawyer that kind of prognosticated that as things stand, it's very likely that Rashee Rice's case is not handled this NFL season. And if the NFL is going to wait on the legal stuff to take place, which they typically do, in most cases where there's not like super awful incriminating video evidence a la I don't know, a Ravens running back. It all kind of pointing to Addison and Rice not likely to be suspended. If nothing's happening right now from the league, then it's not likely to happen until next year. We kind of saw that with Alvin Kamara as well. You can push and appeal things in the future, and if they do that, and the NFL goes, I'm just going to wait for due process. And Addison was a misdemeanor DUI anyway, which is it's pretty peanuts in the legal system.
Yeah, I mean, Hayden Winks was saying, we'll see if the NFL treats Jordan Addison's misdemeanors for speed and reckless driving as a second offense, because that can vary the length of the ban that you get from 3 up to 8 games instead. So it just feels like there's a lot of gray area there at the minute. And I think anybody who's taking a hard stance on it one way or the other is probably shooting himself in the foot. I think I'd rather just kind of try and stay water with it. I'll take Jordan Addison when it fits structurally. I'll be mindful of the fact that he could miss a few games, and you just sprinkle him in. Feel like there's a possibility that he might not get any discipline this season. James saying Garofalo and Pelissero just said Ayuk more likely to be traded than sign an extension. That article seems to be floating out there on NFL.com now. Just feels like something could happen, but maybe not quite yet for the Steelers anyway. What are we saying here on this turn? We've got a pretty nice built team in terms of 1-3-7-1. I know you guys were quite happy with what we've done at wide receiver so far. Do we want Matthew Stafford for our second quarterback?
That was my initial thinking, was at least just lock that up, and we're probably good at a 2 with Caleb and Stafford. I feel good with that.
I mean, again, we could push it.
Yeah.
Chuba Hubbard for some early season production, maybe, or something else, Kev?
I'm fine with Chuba. I've been drafting a lot of Ray Davis too, just because I'm more bullish on that run game. I've called them arbitrage, Gibbs and Montgomery, Cook and Davis.
Nice.
You got the fly in the ointment with Allen, but I do like that pairing. So I'm good with Davis.
Okay, I am officially it won't let me name till it's done. Please remind me to name this team hashtag Cucking Davis or the Cuck Davis lover. Apparently, this is the team to cuck Davis out of all of his EV.
Well, I hope that Underdog affiliate deal pays a lot of money.
I mean, have you seen the way he's been drafting? It seems pretty cushy.
Yeah, I mean, he's comfortable.
I'm gonna have to negotiate hard next off season. See what we can get, Tyler. Matthew Stafford auto pick.
Yeah, I think Stafford to cover our asses there. Yeah, that's
I like that. How you feeling about it so far, Kev?
This is a group of 3 fun havers building a fun team. I mean, what's better than that? It's a good team. I like it.
There is nothing better. In fact, if a team that is named hashtag Cuck Davis ends up cucking Davis, that's the only thing that can make this more fun.
Right.
Man, you know what? We've had some fun teams here on the channel, and we've built some awesome ones with some awesome guests. But the bit equity of this team now is through the roof, and I need this to make the finals so fucking bad because I need this clip to play.
Look, this is the one time.
One cuck to rule them all.
So, look, I mean, we're in a pretty comfortable position at wide receiver. Running back feels kind of okay. We're in the scroll the F down territory now. Have you guys started scrolling the F down a little bit more as we hit this point in the season?
Yeah, it's all trash. ADP doesn't matter after round 14. Sit for the trash.
Get your dudes. That's pretty much what 14 through 18 is. Just get your guys.
Get your dudes, slurp your nudes. Noodles, don't be disgusting.
Love it.
Okay, so bit of a run on quarterback with Stafford, Baker Mayfield, Kirk Cousins, Geno Smith going off the board. Tyler, I know what you're thinking in terms of QB3. Kev, do you think we need a QB3 with Caleb and Matthew Stafford?
Yeah, I think it's at least on the table. Like, I think could be totally fine with like adding an upside guy and like, I don't want to say his name. I don't believe in it, but I think there's some upside plays certainly that you could tack on and be totally fine with a 3 QB build.
I don't know why I'm being secretive about it. I just realized we no one in this room is watching this stream. I keep forgetting we did the prudent thing for once.
Look, it's time to stack Gardner Minshew with Brock Bowers.
I mean, you are legally obligated to announce yourself in the chat too, if you are.
That's right. Crash Rich, I know you draft so much volume, and it's usually off of ADP ranks. So please announce yourself in the chat. This is hilarious because like these are names I see all the time in my rooms, and then a bunch of teams I've never seen in my life. And also, I just want to say, pat on my back. Z Rocket Man, I knew exactly how this homie wanted to draft. I know exactly who he can push around and who he doesn't want. We've been crushing this. It's been good. And Nickelback for life, just been living the dream.
Yeah.
My God,
acting like we're animals.
I got to give him credit though. He takes the falling Addison, which I love a lot, but then he decides he will add Joe Burrow to the T Higgins. One thing I'm curious about because I don't have it memorized. Yeah, that's tough. Like. So if y'all find yourself in this predicament where you're starting quarterback that's stacked with your wide receiver 2,
but it's unique, Tyler.
Well, so I'm asking, like, what do you do there? Because like double bye weeks at quarterback does hurt your advance rate, but doesn't kill your team, and the value's nice. It's like, what are you doing in that situation?
I'm going 3 QB, and I predominantly draft on 20 round platforms, right? Which it is, but I think on Underdog right at the end of drafts, there's a little more room in the quarterbacks who are left over than there are on 20 round formats. So I'd lean into it, and it's a little bit triple condom, but that's the way I'd play it. Kev?
I'm 3 quarterback, with that. I'm still tacking on a guy just at the end. I get the uniqueness factor of it, but I would much rather take, 2 tight ends with the same bye week and eat the 7.3 points than a potential 20 to 25 on a quarterback.
Okay. So I guess y'all are just playing for the total, like, hey, it's just even out the EV. You take a hit here, you take a boost here, you just push it. What are we feeling like doing here? 15, 16 rounds. Seems like tight ends or running backs. What do we want to do?
This is tough. Like I'm all right with like Herbert or Vidal, but I'm not. Even Tracy, I'm fine with too.
Yeah, Tyron Tracy, I'd be good with. Yeah, let's reach down. Josh Downs.
That gives us. I was gonna say because of Downs. Yeah.
Green Bean. Let's talk about the talent thing. Ferguson's not being drafted in the first round, right? He's being drafted in mid-round talent, not on talent, but on volume. That's final note on that. All right. Tight end, we got likely that stacks. We got Juwan uncorrelated. I think we could take our last running back here. We could stick with 5. What do we want to do here? I'm cool.
I'd say take a running back and we can push another tight end because we.
Which one you want? Braylon, Audric, Khalil,
Braylon, I would say. I'd say Braylon.
Okay.
We could stay even with Davis.
Poor man. Catching shots left, right, center.
And you know what? But that's the brand is strong. So it looks like we'll probably we might. I mean, I think taking Brock where we did, we're kind of making the bet that a 2 tight end build using him as like an elite makes sense. But we have flexibility to decide quarterback or tight end what comes back around.
Yeah,
I'm comfortable with that.
Yeah, there's still a tight end that I do like. Oh, there's a few, but there's one that I kind of targeted. I think we can wrap around depending on what these other people do. But that
looking at the board, it looks like a lot of guys and gals, and animals, whatever they.
It's 2024.
Yeah, so whatever they identify as, only one other user has 1 tight end like ourselves. So I feel pretty good about who might fall back around.
Well, what's the team on the turn? How many they got? Is it just
the team on our far end?
Yep,
they're at 2 with Laporta and Janu.
Okay, so
I'd be pretty shocked if they take a third. If it's not,
they could because you could do the elite and then just tack 2 on it at the end. But
you're talking about the team that just took Chig?
No, I was talking about the whoever's got the Laporta Janu.
Oh, I got you.
I could. Yeah, it's a thinner bet, but it could happen too. So it's always kind of in the back of my mind.
Yeah, they're probably done at running back. If those are
They
my
might
receivers,
need another wide receiver.
yeah.
Or
If it was
Yeah.
me, I think I'd be going running back receiver there.
See, before we wrap up on these final picks, just a reminder, people. All you got to do after this video ends, refresh stream, leave a comment on this, leave a comment on as many videos as you like, and you're getting it into our $100 cold hard cash giveaway, 12 months free membership to all our premium content, and a $25 voucher for our merchandise from our store. Look, 260 subs to go until we hit 3,000. Be part of the movement. Kev, anything that you kind of feeling stands out to you at the minute? I know Tyler might have been hoping that Justin Fields made his way back to us. Are you in on Justin Fields at the minute with all these reports that, he's still playing in practice? Him and George Pickens seem to have a good connection.
I mean, it's your quintessential late season bet. I mean, but it doesn't have to be late season. I mean, no, we know what Russell Wilson is at this point, and it's only you're just kind of waiting for the other shoe to drop with him. So, I mean, if you had to put an over under on when Justin Fields is going to start, I'd probably start with like 4.5, like week 4, week 5, that area.
Which I think that's meaningful because up until, I don't know, 2 months ago, it probably felt vibes wise, given the insiders and the pole position and all that BS, like what?
Week 10 when the bye week was or something.
Week 8
yeah,
to 10 was like you were hoping he'd get in there by 12 and pay it off, and now he's not, out of the running for week 1, according to some of the insiders. So that seems pretty meaningful for, a tournament like this.
Yeah. And I know Tomlin it seems like Mike Tomlin's gotten a lot more stubborn in his last couple seasons with the whole Najee and Jalen Warren thing, and just steadfastly refusing to, kind of maybe give Warren a little more run. And not only that, but when he fired Matt Canada, the whole Randy Fichtner thing, they pretty much ran the offense almost the same exact way. So, Tomlin just is almost set in his ways. But I think that might be the hurdle for Fields, where, he is just so steadfast on Russell Wilson being the guy that he might just have his hand kind of forced to play Justin Fields and see what he can do.
And that's kind of what I was thinking for a while, but Nez, local Pittsburgh stan, but also kind of the way it's been reporting is that like Tomlin's staying flexible just to win. Like I think the stubbornness has kind of been overwrought with missing the playoffs, and I think at this point it's win at all costs. All right. Do y'all want to double tap tight end here, considering guys that fell?
Parkinson was the guy that I was looking at.
Yeah,
makes sense.
Who do y'all want to do? Do y'all want to do Juwan? Do y'all want to do Gesicki, or do y'all want to do a receiver or a running? Yeah, we have a lot. We have a lot we could do.
Yeah,
with this next pick.
What backs are out there? Roshan
Stacks.
Dowdle and Shipley.
Shipley feels like the CLV play.
It'd be Shipley or Juwan Johnson to just double tap it and get 3. But I get the bet on Bowers, so I'd be totally fine with taking a running back.
I don't mind. Tom, what do you want?
Yeah, let's go Juwan Johnson. I think. Okay. I think it's a good bet to make on. You look at that tight end room of Bowers and Colby Parkinson. There's
touchdown hunting. We're touchdown hunting, and given optimal roster, an optimal roster is 2, 6, 7, 3, and then through the playoff weeks, the whole thing is we're confident we can get there, and then once we get there, we just want the right guys to go off. Colby is the Higbee multi-touchdown swing. Brock Bowers is the just screaming awesome value, and then Juwan is the Juwan now in play to week 1 because Jones fracture was fake news. He's back there, he's running, he's jugs machine. So it's just having 3 tight ends, 2 that correlate for chasing touchdowns, chasing yards, random spikes, and then also given the fact that we got a little bit of youth and volatility built in by choice into the receiver room. Yeah, I think that made more sense than a 7th running back, because I feel good with Pacheco, Warren, Dowdle, Davis, Tracy and Braylon, especially because it seems Braylon's locked into the RB2. Tyrone Tracy seemingly locked in there with some juice. Also in the return game, Ray Davis popping as well, and Dowdle fucking running end zone routes, catching touchdown passes. Like, I feel good about that.
Yeah.
And
And
sorry.
you got 5 running backs out of the 6 on different bye weeks, which definitely helps as well. I think we're well covered. Sorry, Kev, what were you going to say?
I was just going to say, when Davis is sitting out with no BBM teams left in week 17, and Brock Bowers and Juwan Johnson are trading touchdowns, we're going to be looking good here.
I love it. Well, to cover our asses, Brock Bowers, he's had a good camp, but he's got to overtake Meyer. He's got to kind of get settled in there. They might talk about stubborn. Pierce may be stubborn with the game. So game script wise, we could just have some unlucky weeks. There's not the best quarterbacks in town, obviously, and they're going to want to feed, Adams to keep him happy for as long as that happens. We don't know how long that's going to happen, but yeah, we're going to ping pong and Frankenstein tight end too. That's just kind of, both of these guys are thin bets because Juwan losing to Taysom, Colby, seemingly in pole position for that, but it still seems like they're kind of rotating as of now with Allen and them. So yeah, I don't mind just, covering our ass to make sure that we can truly cuck Davis. Hashtag Cuck Davis 2024.
Tyler, just recap that team once you've finished naming it or whatever.
Yeah, let's all. This is what we're 16. Yeah, look at us just cruising along.
Grind your cock off season.
Saint Cuck Davis with Kev. I'm not changing how that's worded. We finished with a 2-6-7-3 build. Caleb Williams, Matthew Stafford, Isaiah Pacheco, Jalen Warren, Rico Dowdle, Ray Davis, Tyrone Tracy, Braylon Allen, Puka Nacua, Debo Samuel, Zay Flowers, Keenan Allen, Roma Dunze, Romeo Dobbs, Josh Downs, Big Cock Brock Bowers, Colby Parkinson, and Juwan Johnson. Little mini correlations, a double stack, 2 double stacks with our quarterbacks. Guys we said we were low on, we want to boost ourselves with Pacheco and Dobbs. Who knows what the hell's happening with Ayuk? So we take a little stabby stab at Debo and just chase good teams, good offenses, good profiles. Game 3 optimal roster construction. Very pleasing to the eyes. How you feel about it, Kev and Tom?
This is like a vibes based masterpiece, if I may say so.
Truly.
Yeah, no, I like it. It's got a bunch of players who I view as, if I was building DFS lineups, it'd be core players for me, players that I want to be above 15% on, and then it's just got those sprinkled little differentiators across the way. It's definitely fun. I think it's going to be a nice team to keep an eye on. Definitely good. Tyler, what about you?
I mean, it's what do you can we just appreciate that this team is called Cuck Davis and we have a 6969 and this team is the definition of very nice.
Just warms my heart.
It warms my cockles.
That's it.
Kev, like, before we get out of here, I know you're a busy man. You're killing it on a variety of platforms. What do you have coming up between now and when the season starts, and where can people be finding your content in season as well?
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at KTompkins. I am the second Kevin Tompkins. As far as content, at Rotoballer, at FantasyPros, and then some fantasy and frame stuff as well. As far as what I'm doing coming up, King's Classic Draft, the auction, Jim Brown Draft, which always a meat grinder every single season. At the Fantasy Football Expo. So I will be there. I will be seeing Drew Davenport. I will ask him for his deeply guarded lawyer takes while he is there at the poker tournament. Other than that, just doing what I can to get ready for the season. I can't believe it's like legit in a month. Like, what happened to this offseason?
Can't come soon enough. And I say that about a lot of things.
Tyler, what do you got cooking this week?
Pete announced it this morning on Best Ball Breakfast, so I'll say it again here that I've been invited. No idea who let that get past the HR, but I've been invited on Pete's randomizer this Thursday
Nice. I
you'll be
missed
getting the
that.
prompts hitting your timeline, requesting. This
man.
is likely going to be the most chaotic, disgusting, fun time the randomizer has ever seen. So looking forward to that. Then I'll be hopping on with Best Ball Guy and PPR Tyler for what we're workshopping title called the Typhel Tower with the three of us. And then I'll be I think I'm joining PPR Tyler's marathon stream Friday at 5 Central. And then I will be coming to you live for Sunday Best Ball Brunch because we are on the road to 3K. We're having a blast in the home stretch of hot best ball summer, giving you the most chaotic, great alpha that is out there. As Ian Rappaport tweets a bunch of The Rock eyebrow emojis to the Brandon Ayuk news. So it's the battle of the insiders. What is this? What is this? February?
Right?
This is like February type of free agency shit.
Love it. As I said, I'll be back on Wednesday for DraftKings stream. Go check out Fantasy Pros content because we've got a drafters draft over there where we talked about how to approach that contest. Also got Josh Norris, Heath Cummings, Pat Corraine, Justin Herzig, all coming on over next week. But Kev, we truly appreciate you taking time to draft a badass team with us. Go and check out Kev on Twitter. Go follow Tyler on Twitter. There's no reason why he should be under 1,000 followers. We will be back very soon.